Hey YouTube, what's up? This is Alternative Facts, and today we're going to be talking about Brexit. Well, Article 50 just passed, and the UK is on its way to making its way out of the EU, which is great. Hopefully, France soon follows, and if that's going to happen, then it's just going to be a domino effect for the rest of the EU, because essentially, all that's really going to happen, all that's really going to be left over is maybe Germany. They're going to be running everything with a few smaller countries, grouped in with them. But there's a lot of fear mongering going around saying like, hey, this is going to be bad for our economy, this, and that, or your economy. But in reality, the UK is a massive, economic power. So people are going to be forced to trade with them. The EU can't just cut off that large of a trading partner. They can't do it for themselves. That will hurt the people of the EU just as much as it will hurt the people in the UK. So that will just drive even more people to want to separate, so then they can have more control over their trade deals and how they want to interact with other countries. And this is essentially what the UK is doing. They just want a lot more sovereignty, right? And more countries should want this. It's amazing to me that people will be for consolidating power even to even smaller degrees, and expecting that they're not going to abuse that power is very foolish. Like, these people, bad people, are attracted to positions of power, and when you create positions of power that are have massive scale, and massive power and reach, then yeah, occasionally you might get a good person there, but more often than not, it's not good people driven to these things. So you don't want to give individuals this much power. It's not good. You want to bring it, you want to divide it among the people as much as possible. That's why bigger governments oftentimes don't work, and there's lots of corruption because the individual person spends their own money better than somebody else, right? If I give you $10, you're going to spend it less efficiently than if you made that $10 on your own. So right away, expecting that there's just a small group of people with all this power, and they're going to use it correctly. That's not, you're not using your head. And secondly, what happened in America and what happened in the UK is very similar, and a lot of the propaganda going about is very similar as well, because one of the stats that they'll be usually talking about often is how younger and more educated people voted for either Brexit or Donald Trump. And they're not going to straight out say, oh, it's because we're smarter than you, but that's what they're implying. But really, what that really means is not necessarily that they're smarter than you. It's just that they went through state education, and they've been filled with propaganda for many years. So they've been taught that government is always good, and that the bigger the government is, the better it is. And that's what they believe. You talk to these people, there's very few times that they're willing to scale back the power of government. And they're willing to give up, freedom of speech and all these things for, the sake of government. So these people, just because they're more educated, does not mean that they know what they're talking about or they know what's best for you. Because a lot of what's happening with this, free movement of people is that the native population, the people, the working class, often gets screwed over. Like, they have a lot of family to take care of, they have a lot of other stuff, and if somebody else comes in single, they can do the job right away, they can just start working, and yeah, it's not necessarily good for the common people in that country. So it has negative effects and some positive effects, but when the negative effects are affecting the people who have lived there the longest, then what do you really have a right to come and just say, hey, I'm gonna come to your country and do what the fuck I want because you know that's the way it is. They should have the right to have some sovereignty, have some say into what goes on within their borders, and that's what's going to happen. And if Le Pen doesn't win this time, she's probably going to win next time, and when that happens, then there will be a huge domino effect, and it's just a matter of time before the EU dissolves. It's not going to stay around much longer. So they're going to try to stop the UK from leaving. They're going to try to do a couple things, before the time runs out, but I think they will be unsuccessful because people are waking up every day. So the more people wake up, the better it is. And something like Scotland wanted to leave and maybe rejoin the EU, but that would be very foolish because Scotland isn't a very big economy, and like they would be put to the back of the queue behind Turkey if they were to try to join the EU. So yeah, good luck with that. You're going to be staying in the UK whether you like it or not, and if they hold a referendum, they're most likely going to stay again, right? Because people are moving more towards this nationalist type of mindset. So yes, a lot of people in Scotland did want to leave, but the last time they held referendum, they stayed, and I think people are moving. They're not moving more to the left, they're moving more to the right. So yeah, go hold another referendum, leave, and you'll be staying. But that's pretty much all I had to say about the events recently. And if you like my content, subscribe, and have a great day. See you later.